What's up, guys, and welcome to another Madden 15 offensive tip video. Today we are on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. And before I looked into this playbook, I thought it was pretty bad because I'd never seen anybody running it, never really heard anything about it. And I kind of looked at it before and it seemed pretty plain, but it's actually got some pretty good stuff in it. And so the formation I chose to do the little mini scheme out of is the Singleback ace formation. It's a formation that's pretty much in every playbook. I'm pretty sure every default playbook has Singleback ace. It's a very vanilla formation, but it's also a very effective formation. And this particular Singleback ace is very effective in my opinion. It's got some really good run plays, and it also has some really good complementary passing plays. And the great thing about this formation is that you can run the play to either side. You can flip it at the line of scrimmage and your opponent will never know since it's a symmetrical formation. So it just adds in another element that your opponent has to worry about. They not only have to worry about shutting down what you're running, but they have to worry about shutting it down to either side of the field. So it can definitely cause some headaches. So first things first, usually I like to start out with the run game, so I'll go ahead and do that. Pretty much the two running plays that I like the most out of this formation is the outside zone, the A play, which is pretty much a halfback stretch. It is a halfback stretch, it's just called differently. And the 0-1 trap. Those are my two favorite running plays out of this formation. Pretty much outside zone, you use it to attack the perimeter of the defense. And then if they start spreading their line or something, use the 0-1 trap, and vice versa. If you're running the 0-1 trap and they start pinching their line to stop it, that's when you can start hitting them with the outside zone. There's also a couple other decent run plays. The halfback misdirection is a nice little play to mix in every now and then, just kind of as a mix-up, just to kind of catch your opponent off guard. You can definitely hit some big plays with that one. I'll just go ahead and show you guys those three to begin with. The outside zone's pretty self-explanatory. Generally, you're going to want to run it to the side that the outside defender on the line of scrimmage isn't outside of your tight end. So notice how on the right side, that linebacker out there is outside of Austin Safarian-Jenkins. He's on his right shoulder. And so what would happen in that situation is you wouldn't get a double team block on the outside, and instead you'd have one-on-one blocks, and they would double team the defensive end. I'll go ahead and run it for you guys so you guys can see. See how they double the defensive end? And it just kind of gets murky. I'll show you guys that in instant replay. Just so you guys can kind of get a better grasp of it, because that happened pretty quickly. But they're not going to double the linebacker there. And what you want them to double the farthest guy to the outside so that your tight end can usually sift off of that block and move up to the next level. So if I'd run it to the left, they would have double teamed this defensive end right here, and the tight end would have sifted off of him and probably moved up to that safety. But instead, since I ran it to the right, they double teamed that defensive end, and it just kind of got weird because he tried to sift off, although they did get a good block shed in the middle. My center wasn't able to hold a good block, and so that kind of ruined it. And also they got a block shed on Safarian-Jenkins, Colin Klein or whatever his name is. Got a good block shed, so I didn't really have much success. But that's just for future reference. You want to run to the side that you can get a double team on the outside with. Now right here, I would definitely run the 0-1 trap against this look. It's some type of, it looks like a nickel wide 9 or 4-3 wide 9. And see how far the defensive line is spread out. You definitely want to run either the 0-1 trap or the default run audible out of the formation is the halfback dive. Definitely against this look, just get upfield and get what you can. Don't force yourself to run certain plays. Just take what the defense gives you. Once again, right here, I would run the dive again. I'll go ahead and show you guys the stretch against this look. Sometimes you can get decent yardage, but a lot of times that's what's going to happen because they're set up to defend the outside because of the way their defensive line is aligned. So right here, I would probably run this to the left since you can see the guy above Brandon Myers, that defensive end right there. He's going to get double teamed by my left tackle and Brandon Myers. Whereas if I ran it to the right, once again, they would double team that defensive end, but Safarian-Jenkins would move up to the linebacker. So I want my tight end getting a double team with my offensive tackle. So that's generally what you're looking for. Right there, the safety was in a good position to make a play, and somehow I got out of there. I'm not even sure how. but I'll show you guys that in an instant replay. That's pretty much what you're looking for. Blocking wise, see how they get the double team right here, and then Myers is able to sift off and move up to the second level. Right there, it just so happened they had an unblocked safety that came flying up and actually did a horrible job of making a miss. Like, I just kind of tried to outrun him. I probably should have just spun or juked or something. I got pretty fortunate. I broke a tackle and then spun around 3 people. But that's pretty much what you're looking for. Right here, you could actually run it to either side because both sides are set up to get that double team and then move up to the second level. So right there, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Nice 5-yard gain. You can definitely hit some big runs with this play. I know I haven't really hit any yet, but it's definitely something that if your opponent's not set up to defend it, you can get some very big plays out of it. And a lot of times it leaves you one-on-one with a safety, and it's even better against actual players because they'll probably be using that safety. And so it's a lot easier to make a user player like over pursue or just swerve him or something and make him miss than the computer. So it pretty much puts them in a very tight spot where they have to come up and make a play themselves. And anytime you can make your opponent have to make a play to stop you, it's a pretty good thing. It's right there once again. Got the blocks, but Vincent Jackson got block shed really easily right there. And we weren't able to get many yards. Right there, that's kind of what you're looking for. In an ideal world, you're able to get to the outside. Your wide receiver holds his block. And you're able to get to the outside and get up the sideline. I'll go over the quick audible since I'm here. The quick pass is curl flats. Not much to say about this play other than it's curl flats. Just always, if you're going to throw the curls on the outsides to your receivers, always pass lead them down so that your opponent has a lesser chance of jumping it and picking it off. It just makes it a lot harder for them to pick it off if you pass lead it down. The down run, as I showed you guys earlier, is the halfback dive, which is nice if your opponent's like spreading their line to try to stop the stretch, or if they're in like a 4-3 wide 9, nickel wide 9, something like that. If they want to keep coming out in that defense, then by all means abuse the middle of the field. The deep pass is flanker drive, which I don't really like very much because there's not much that's unique about it, so I don't really run it. And the play action pass is PA rollout. It's a decent play action pass. Pretty much, I wouldn't even bother leaving Evans on that post route. I would just fade Evans. That's the good thing with the Buccaneers. You've got the twin towers out there with Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans, so you have user catch options on both sides of the field. So it definitely puts your opponent in a bind as to they pretty much have to almost double cover both of your outside receivers, because if they're left one-on-one on an island, pretty much against anybody, you're going to be able to take advantage of that matchup and make something happen. Right there, just went with the check down. PA rollout's a decent play. It's not something I would call very often. The other runs out of the formation, aside from the stretch and the halfback dive, I'll show you guys. The 0-1 trap is a very effective run. I'm sure if you guys play online or if you've been watching like any videos, you guys have seen the 0-1 trap be run a lot. It's a very effective run play. You get really good blocking. Very, very easy to just pick up 7 or 8 yards with it, as long as your opponent doesn't get any ridiculous block sheds. A lot of people kind of started catching on to the play and started, the number one way to stop it is pretty much to pinch your line, because it just kind of clouds up the blocking in the middle. And so that's why the outside zone is perfect, is a perfect complement, because like in this case, they're in like a 5-2. You don't really want to run to the middle right there. There's a lot of people in the middle. They've got all of your defensive linemen covered up in the middle, and then they've got 2 linebackers like sitting right behind them. So in this case, you definitely want to run the outside zone to the left, I'd say, because the left, they don't have a safety over there, whereas on the right side they have the corner and the safety, whereas to the left side they only have the corner. So I'd definitely run the outside zone to the left against this look. But that's pretty much why you wouldn't want to run the 0-1 trap. It just gets really foggy when they start stacking in the middle of the line of scrimmage. But otherwise, definitely run it, definitely establish it. It's definitely something that your opponent has to adjust to stop. And then once you get them adjusting, that's when you hit them in other areas, because they can't stop everything at once. If they're taking something away, then something else has to be becoming open, if that makes sense. So definitely that's a good 1-2 punch. And then the last run play is the halfback misdirection, which is a decent run play. It's definitely something you can pop for a long yardage gain every now and then. It does come with the auto motion, so that's the only thing. It's a pretty quick auto motion though, so by the time your opponent sees it, like, you're pretty much going to be snapping the ball, so that's the good thing. The bad thing is, if they're quick enough to recognize it, then they can come up and try to make a play. But I think it's kind of too quick. If they're worrying about a lot of other stuff, it's a really quick auto motion, so they probably won't have enough time to react, honestly. For me, I was running this play a lot earlier. I have a lot more success running it to the left side of the field than the right side. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's in my head. Right there. A lot of times with this play, it's either like a huge gain or like either I'm losing yards or it's like a gain of 2. Right there, like I said, a huge gain, or the last 2 times I ran it, I got like 2 and 3 yards. So it's definitely, in my experience, like a really big hit or miss play. The best result is whenever your tight end blocks his guy, and then sometimes he'll get like a perfect block shed, but by the time he block sheds, you're already past him, so he can't make a play on you, and then your tight end's able to move up and block somebody else. That's when I have the most success with the play. And it's also nice when your receivers hold their blocks. A lot of times, the receiver will get block shedded, and that can be problematic. I should have cut it up through that hole right there. But yeah, definitely something to just mix in, just to kind of keep your opponent off balance and make them, another thing to make them think about. So for the passing game out of this formation, the first play that caught my eye is this Playbook's Y corner play. Main reason being it's got 2 corner routes, so it's definitely hard to stop. You pretty much can't run man-to-man against this play because you have 2 corner routes attacking both sides of the field, plus you have a shallow crossing route that'll beat man-to-man. Plus, you have Martin on his route, which can at times get good positioning against man-to-man. So it's just a lot of stuff that you have to worry about. And then even against zone, the one adjustment I make is I fade Vincent Jackson just so he gets his streak angled towards the sideline for the user catching. It just makes it easier in my opinion. But even against zone, you've got a nice little flood on the left with Martin in the flat and Myers running the corner. And then you've got later on in the progression, if Evans is able to get all the way across the field, he kind of creates a mini flood on the right side where you have Evans occupying the flat, Safarian Jenkins on the corner, and then Jackson pulling the defense deep. So it's definitely something that's pretty difficult to stop right there, man-to-man. You pretty much just pick which corner route you want to run, especially if you have 2 good tight ends. So if you're using a team like the Bengals or even like the Broncos, the Patriots, somebody like that. I'm trying to think of teams with 2 good tight ends. There's not that many teams out there. The Seahawks would be a good team with Wilson and Zach Miller, but Brandon Myers isn't that great. Safarian Jenkins is pretty good, but this is definitely a pretty tough play to contain. Right there, I was trying to hit Doug Martin in the flat, but the pressure got to me. Doug Martin kind of got held up in the backfield, and that does happen sometimes, so be careful. Sometimes, like, your running back will just get tackled for no reason. Like, somebody will just tackle him in the backfield even though he's on a route. And so if you're looking to hit him in the flat or check down to him and he's on the ground, then you're going to have kind of a backup plan to either throw the ball away or just kind of chuck it deep or something. Just something to kind of be aware of. Right there, the corner route, Brandon Myers wasn't even able to get very good separation against Thomas Davis, but because of the way the route is, I was able to click on and get good positioning to make a play on the ball. Right there, you can hit the flat route. It's a very good flat route because of the way he runs it. It's kind of angled upwards, if that makes sense. Like, when you look at a normal swing route, like, you're catching the ball like 5 yards in the backfield, which by the time you catch the ball, even if there's no flat defender, they're able to just like make a play, run out there, and they're meeting you like at the line of scrimmage. Whereas with this flat route, see how he's running it? He's actually like at the line of scrimmage or even a yard above the line of scrimmage when he catches the ball. So you're able to catch the ball and immediately get upfield. It's just a very, very good flat route that's pretty effective. So that's just a nice little thing to kind of take note of. Right there, I was trying to go deep to Vincent Jackson, but the pressure got to me. Let's see. I'll run this play a couple more times for you guys. Right there, I was trying to hit the corner route, and the pressure got to me. Apparently, the Bucks O-line isn't the greatest ever. Right there, you can go ahead and hit Mike Evans. You can also, there's the other way that I thought about running this play is just fade both outside receivers. And so you've got the flood on the left with Martin, Myers, and Evans. And then you've got, on the right, you've got Vincent Jackson going deep, and then Safarian Jenkins on the corner route in case it's like man-to-man. Right there, because I faded Mike Evans, he took the corner deep or whatever. He took that deep defender down the field, and it let Brandon Myers become open. Right there, once again, 4-man rush, and I have like 2 seconds to throw the ball. So the Bucks O-line definitely not getting it done for me. Okay, once again, 3-man rush, had like 2 seconds to throw the ball. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to run it one more time for you guys here, just so I can just kind of hammer the point home, see if I can get some somewhat decent blocking here. Right there, that was a pretty tight throw. Brandon Myers was able to make the catch. So definitely a tough play to defend, mainly because of the 2 corner routes. And that's a play that I don't see very often in Singleback Ace. So something that caught my eye. It can be very effective. PA All Go is kind of my YOLO user catching play. I pretty much just fade both outside receivers, and I'm pretty much looking to user catch just all the way on this play. Right there, once again, can't get any blocking. Gosh, the Bucks O-line is so awful. Right there, Mike Glennon overthrows Mike Evans, which is pretty hard to do since he's 6'5". Let's see if I can get a user catch here for you guys. There we go. And Evans holds on to the ball. So that's what happens whenever I can actually get the ball off and Glennon doesn't overthrow him by 20 yards. But you can also, like, you don't have to user catch on this play. Although that's pretty much what I would do all the time. You can definitely, if they're not running cover 4 or like man-to-man, against cover 4 and man, you're pretty much locked into user catching. But against cover 3 or cover 2, you can definitely hit the tight ends and the seams. Right here is against man-to-man, so you're going to kind of want to try to user catch. Right there, I kind of ran into the corner and wasn't able to get good inside positioning. Right here, it looks like it's either cover 2 or like 2-man under. So yeah, it was 2-man under. So just go ahead and try to user catch. Mainly because none of the routes beat man-to-man. Like, you're not going to be able to really throw any of the routes against man to where they're like wide open. Same thing against cover 4, since they have 4 deep defenders. Nobody should really be open. But against like cover 3 or something, okay, that was an awful throw. I was throwing that to Austin Safarian Jenkins. I'll try to squeeze in one of these seam routes for you guys. Luke Kuechly made a good play. I should have waited longer. I thought I could squeeze it by him. That was against cover 2. That is the one thing you have to be careful about against cover 2. They definitely, the middle linebacker drops back like a lot deeper than you would expect. Even though he's in a hook zone, he almost plays it like it's a deep zone. So you just have to be really patient against cover 2 and wait for him to drop really far back, and then eventually he'll stop dropping, and you'll be able to squeeze it in between the 2 safeties. I really want to try to squeeze in these seam routes for you guys, so you guys can kind of see the timing and when it gets thrown. I'm not gonna have enough time. Nope. Okay, well that was that was pretty lucky. I playmakered him back and just threw it. Let's see. Oh, he's dropping so far. Well, that is Kuechly, so it is the best linebacker, best middle linebacker in the game. So. But yeah, just be patient if you're trying to throw those seam routes. If it's open, like immediately, go ahead and throw it. But otherwise, you're going to have to be really patient and wait for them to clear the linebackers. Hopefully, you're not playing the Panthers so that Kuechly doesn't swat everything down. And then there's 2 more plays. Z-spot, there's pretty much 2 adjustments I make on Z-spot. I drag Vincent Jackson, and I put Mike Evans on a smoke screen. You can either put him on a smoke screen or a fade route, depending on if the defender's playing off coverage or if he's pressing you. If he's pressing, put him on a fade route for the user catch. If he's off like he is right now, you can either fade him for the user catch or you can put him on the smoke screen. And pretty much what I do is I motion Vincent Jackson, and as soon as he starts moving, you want to snap the ball. And what that does, it gives him a little speed boost right there. I tried to hit the smoke screen, but Mike Evans didn't react. It gives him a little speed boost off the line of scrimmage, and it just kind of gets him into his route quicker, and it also lets him beat man-to-man more effective, or more often, I guess you could say. He gets better positioning against man-to-man when you run it like that. Right there. Just go ahead and take what the defense gives you. This is a really good play because you have reads pretty much all over the field. You're attacking both flats with your running back and Mike Evans. You've got a crossing route coming over the middle of the field. You've got a corner route by Safarian Jenkins. You've got an out route by Brandon Myers, which is kind of like your last read. I hardly ever even read that route, but it's definitely a good play that attacks all areas of the field right there. Go ahead and hit the hitch route and take an easy 13 yards. Just always take what the defense gives you. If they keep playing off coverage like that, definitely take the flat route all day long. And then whenever they start pressing you and stuff, when they start coming up, that's when you can start attacking them deep like that. So it's definitely a tough play to stop. Just nothing like super good about it. It's just all around really solid if you're making the right reads. And you can run it to either side. Don't forget that. So definitely use that to your advantage. You don't want to, you always want to use whatever you can to your advantage. So definitely take advantage of the fact that this is a symmetrical formation and that you can run pretty much definitely run any play out of it to either side of the field. So definitely don't forget that. Take advantage of that. Just keep giving your opponent things to think about. And then the last play is PA crosses, which is a complement to the outside zone. Basically, it looks just like the outside zone, except it's play action, obviously. Pretty much, you want to just read the crossing routes and the flat routes. I always read Vincent Jackson first. If he's open, throw it. If not, then I look for Martin in the flat, or I look, and usually you can, if you look at Evans crossing, and you look at the defense, you can kind of tell if he'll be open or when he'll be open. So right here, that was an awful throw. I didn't see Thomas Davis sinking back. As soon as I pressed the button, I saw him. So let's see if I can get a good throw for you guys right there. I saw nobody was in the flat, so I knew Doug Martin was going to be wide open. Definitely take what the defense gives you. If the flat's open, please take the flat. A lot of people kind of take it for granted. Right there, Evans was open. He found a little pocket in the defense. Glennon just made a pretty bad throw. Let's see if I can, right there, once again. And it's really good to have a good catch and traffic receiver running that route, because a lot of times that's what'll happen is as soon as he catches it, since he's kind of running full speed across the middle, he'll usually get hit. So just be careful. Right there, I don't even know what happened. I guess he got shoestring tackled. But definitely an effective little mix-up play. Not something that I would run very often, or not that I wouldn't run it often. I just wouldn't run it. Like, I wouldn't overrun it, if that makes sense. It's definitely something you want to mix in, especially if you're running the stretch a lot, because it is a very effective passing play. You've got reads pretty much all over the field. It's really tough to defend double crossing routes, and then if they are defended, you can always just check it down to the flat and live to play another day. Live to play another down. But, yeah, just very effective. Be careful. Always be careful when you're throwing routes over the middle of the field, not to get it lurked. Always pay attention to how the hook zones are playing. Always pay attention to if they have a spy. If they have a spy on the field, try to manipulate him by moving around in the pocket to give yourself a better window to throw the ball in. If it's man-to-man, like right there, you should pretty much have every route on the field. A lot of times what will happen is exactly what happened right there. I'll show you guys an instant replay. One of these guys was probably assigned to Doug Martin, but because he's on like a block and release route, they think he's blocking. And this only happens sometimes. It's not automatic, but sometimes they'll think he's blocking, so the guy who's supposed to be guarding him will just go ahead and blitz, and it'll leave him just wide open in the flat. And so right there, obviously, nobody's within like 15 yards of him. So definitely keep that in mind. If your opponent likes to blitz a lot, that's something you can kind of look for and see if you can exploit. So yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful. It was kind of a long video. I'm sorry for rambling, but this is a pretty intricate formation. A lot of things you can do with it. Since it's so kind of basic, a lot of people overlook it, but there's definitely some really cool things you can do with it. And it can be very, very effective if run correctly. It's been run against me before, and it's very frustrating to defend a good single back ace scheme because of the fact they can run the play to either side. You have to worry about so many different things. It's very frustrating. So I hope you guys enjoyed. The next video will be on the Tennessee Titans playbook, which is a pretty cool playbook. Can't wait to do that. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed and have